I only learned how to spell because in year 6, year 7-ish, you know, and still to this day I have to go big elephants always understand small elephants. This was the first document that was raised by my teachers, and then the process of kind of exposing the fact that I was dyslexic. We did tests, you know, parents were called in, stuff like that. Were you prepared to begin with?
I think that's a no. I think when you were in year 2, and so from foundation, and as you hit all the milestones as you were growing up till year 2, so what's that, age 6, 7? Yeah. I think, and then your teacher suddenly realised that you'd sort of hit a plateau and you weren't progressing anymore. And that's when, do you remember Miss Ritchie, I think it was, said if you wanted to write with a stick in sand instead of on paper because she couldn't get you to write because you didn't want to, and then you stopped progressing with your reading levels as well.
Let's take that example. Reading a book for me is you have to mentally prepare before you get into a book. You have to go into it and you have to think, right, I've only got a page, I've got a couple words, paragraphs even. You break it down to sentences, you break it down to, you get to a difficult word and you stop and you go, I can't do a thing. And then it gets difficult. So you do have to go into it knowing that it's going to be a task. Oh yeah, I get letters mixed up. I, E, Y and C. Don't know why, it's just your brain, what happens. And so this obviously transitions to my actual work. So this is year 1, so this is the first time you can write. And obviously kids can't really write anyway, but even from this, they're picking up on my spelling and they're talking about it. So credit to my teachers, but they've picked up that I've said Father, Happy, Christmas, you know, and you work it through. And I do remember it was one of my targets, right on the line with fingers spaced between each words. And I remember, I think even in this book, which we'll come to in a sec, everything still applied. I was trying to work on the spacing between everything for so long. About year 4, when it was properly diagnosed, I kind of got an understanding of it, and I was kind of accepted that life would be slightly different and life would be harder. And then moving into secondary school, I got a lot more help. There was a lot more help available at secondary school. The head teacher was wonderful. As I say, you did probably have the most impact. Teachers in general were wonderful.
You know, you were on the ball with it, and I think your focus was there, and sometimes you could see that from some students, and sometimes you know, you were one of those students where you say, he's definitely gonna see this through.
Support staff, wonderful.
So that's the main sort of focus, especially this time of year, is starting to put everything in place for all those kids that need it and will need it going forward, and sort of fully understanding what the needs of each student are. Right. And also, of course, throughout year 10 and 11, making sure that they're in a position whereby they can actually get something out of school. Because obviously not every kid is going to go into every subject, every exam and get top marks, but every kid can get something out of school. And I think more than anything, understanding what that kid enjoys, what they're good at, as long as they can get something out of it at the end of the day, that is the most important thing.
Creative writing was kind of my thing, because it was okay, James is very creative, so we know that yes, it might not look good, it might not read very well, but the concepts and the ideas and the content would be quite good.
I think what media does open up is that thing that actually you can be creative. They might not be good, particularly at art and drawing. You have to be good. You know, and if you're not good at that, but I think media, you can find other ways. So if it wasn't filming, it could be editing, it could be some other part of media that you like, and you explore that sort of creativity that way.
For me also, the other side of SEND is celebrating difference, you know, because the world's a really sad place if we're all the same. And just as some people are very musically talented, everybody is talented in different ways. Everybody is not very good in different ways. You know, I am known as the lowest common denominator in the school for anything technical. If I can do it, then everyone else has to be able to do it, including year 7. You know, it's not my strength, but I can do other things.
At the beginning of it was give you coloured paper, give you sheets with like these see-through coloured plastic things to put on top. You know, follow with your finger. You know, only have one line visible at a time. That's not what it is.
Well, it's interesting you should mention when you started, James, because in fact I started working here the year you started. So I can't speak from before then, but what I can, it was a very key year in special needs, in that it was the year that the government launched the 2014 Code of Practice, which was instrumental in changing policy for students with specific and special needs. So it brought about a more child-centred approach, so putting the student at the centre of any decisions and interventions that may have been put in place for that student. So before, and I'm not disrespecting the past, but with special needs it tended to be, we're going to do this to you and we're going to do that to you.
Ultimately, that's the problem, is that it's very stressful to try and get the same amount of work done as a quote-unquote normal student when you aren't quote-unquote normal. So this is like a life-changing thing, and I'm very proud that I am the first student at my secondary school to go through the DSA program. And I hope I've helped people in that when it comes to my secondary school.
I never thought you would be one to go to university, so I was surprised when you decided that was what you wanted to do. And then, super proud that you actually managed to get in, and get the grades that you needed, because as Mom said, you proved Mr. Alexander right, or you showed that this can be done, and potentially have given a lot of other kids the opportunity to do something similar to what you did.
From a very young age, the odds are stacked against you. You're told your entire life you're going to fail. You're told you won't succeed in your education. You won't succeed in life. You'll end up probably going to a special school for special kids, and you will live your life knowing that there are people that are doing everything better because you have something in your brain that's stopping you from being like them. You are brought up to expect failure, and it's wrong. And I'm cocky. I didn't fail. You use it. Some people can't use it as a jumping off point for motivation. Some people accept it. Some people accept what they're told. Do I think it's wrong that you're told that from the get-go? Yes. I have doubts every day about my ability, but I don't let those doubts define who I am, because I know where I've got to and I know I can get further.